Hey there again, what's up, YouTubers? So I just feel like filming another YouTube video, and I would like to talk more about what I've been doing, especially with Japanese culture and Japanese language. So I guess my obsession with Japanese language and Japanese culture and people hasn't actually yet faded away. That's why I've been still paying attention to dramas, to plenty of other TV shows that was published even quite some time ago, and yes, I kind of tend to get quite nostalgic or sentimental with them, and I spend a lot of time watching and rewinding and chewing on them from time to time. That's why I just now watched continued watching one of my favorite, or I should say my favorite drama, my favorite Japanese television drama, which also led me to Japan, or I should say piqued my interest in learning more about Japan, learning more about Japanese language and culture and people, etc. and whatnot. So I just got to know another fact, I suppose, which is the complexity of Japanese language. Well, although at first glance it shouldn't, Japanese language per se shouldn't spell so much difficulty or complexity to other Asians, especially Chinese, and Koreans or Mongolians, etc. Still, I found it quite hard to articulate, and that's it's quite blows my mind to know that I still need a lot more practice, a lot more patience with continuing to learn and to sharpen to sharpen my skills, my mastery in the language itself. Well, I don't know if you guys ever heard me conversing in Japanese in the past, or well, in case you just found my channel, then that should be very highly unlikely for you to have heard or to have seen I converse in Japanese language. So yeah, I won't lie to you. I've been learning and speaking Japanese for more than a decade, to be more precise. So I've been learning Japanese since high school. Since actually, it's all begun. It all began in year 2000 and 2010, I suppose. Yeah, that should be more than a decade. And yeah, so yeah, I just kind of begin to realize maybe maybe fit in I don't fit in Japan and the culture and the language and the people as much as I imagined I would. Perhaps setting sail to Belgium to Europe may work better for for me in terms of personal and career development, rather than trying to find ways to to reside in Japan and work and study. That's it's all things considered, I just don't suppose I stand a fair chance um, of succeeding in so doing in Japan. Since I don't yet understand the culture, especially in terms of the etiquette very well. Sometimes, not just sometimes, but more often than not, I still tend to act a bit of a rude and let's just say um, my current my current level of understanding of Japanese language and etiquette still sometimes lands me in the wrong places at the wrong time, probably also with the wrong groups of people. Yeah, that's I suppose it might just come to that. It might just make the shit hit the fan all over again. I just don't know if that can cause something even more unpleasant to happen in the future. Diverting my attention and energy to the wrong goals, to the wrong paths, to the wrong path. Yeah. So I suppose it's a question worth asking. It's a question worth giving a thought or two about. Yeah, In any regard, I hope this video can serve its purpose of making you rethink visiting Japan or working or studying in Japan in the long term. And all things considered, if you take the current situation in Japan into account, there's a I should say we do stand a high chance of becoming unemployed, becoming feral, wandering around aimlessly, and on the other hand, maybe also indulging ourselves in self-destructive behaviors, including but not limited to suicide. And yeah, as you guys also might have well known, the suicide rate in Japan still remains fairly high, and the government, the local regime, isn't doing something enough to lower the statistics pertaining to suicide. Well, of course, the statistics, can't tell you the full picture. We can't make a perfectly logical judgment based solely on the statistics, especially the suicide rate in Japan. So, well, I suppose, yeah, we human beings still have free will. We can still freely choose what sort of actions to take next, what sort of words we should spit out from our mouths using our tongues. Yeah, so long story short, today's practice of speaking Japanese kind of makes me upset and a bit also kind of demoralized, since I can sense some strains of doubt from the Japanese lady with whom I had vocal conversations with tonight, whether I could articulate my thoughts in speech while conversing in Japanese, since I hesitated quite a lot while I tried to vocalize my thoughts in Japanese and make them conversations, So yeah, I suppose learning never ends so long as we are alive here, even if once we depart from this world, we enter into the eternal void, or I should say the kingdom of God, which we must still remain keen to learn ever more and more. It's just it's gonna be indefinite, it's gonna be infinite. Learning itself, I suppose, shall always remain infinite, no matter what, no matter where we stand, no matter where we go, But in any event, thanks again for watching. I will see you around. I certainly hope I shall see you around next time on YouTube. If the Almighty is still willing, stay safe, stay put, remain steadfast and have faith. Take care. Bye bye. Cheers.